Let's enter weird showbiz history.
Now, if you know anything about how America has been consumed by the hype and hoopla of celebrityhood, and certainly not if the name Zsa Zsa means anything to you.
She was arrested and handcuffed like this.
There was nothing funny about the case. It was a very serious matter.
She compares him later to Tom Selleck. She also claims he's gay and jealous of her ex-husbands.
In the shimmering world of Hollywood, where dreams are bought and sold like vintage champagne, there existed a creature of pure, unadulterated fabulousness. Zsa Zsa Gabor, countess, actress, socialite, and perpetual headline maker. The events of the 14th of June 1989 was something else entirely. Prepare yourself, because we're gonna dive headfirst into the trial of Zsa Zsa Gabor, a minor car malfeasance that exploded into a symphony of accusations, celebrity, and enough legal glitter to blind a judge. This is the story of the event that would become known worldwide as the slap heard around the world. Firstly, let me tell you the backstory to this incredibly unique personality and all the events that led up to this bizarre legal drama.
Before the diamonds, before Hollywood, there was Zsa Gabor, born in Budapest, Hungary in 1917. Even as a young girl, she possessed an undeniable magnetism, a quality that caught the eye of Austrian opera tenor Richard Tauber, who reportedly offered her a leading role in an opera while she was still only in her teens. In 1936, she was crowned Miss Hungary, a title that launched her into Hungarian high society. Her beauty and wit were undeniable, and she quickly became a sought-after socialite. In 1941, she married a Turkish diplomat and cleverly used her diplomatic immunity to leave Hungary just before World War II fully engulfed Europe. This move eventually led her to Hollywood, the land of dreams, where she reinvented herself as Zsa Zsa Gabor.
In Hollywood, she quickly made a name for herself,
Not so much for her acting prowess, but for her captivating personality and her talent for attracting attention, becoming more famous for being Zsa Zsa than for any particular role. While she appeared in films like Lovely to Look At and an even more memorable turn in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, her real performance was as a socialite extraordinaire. Her life was a whirlwind of parties, premieres, and pronouncements that often raised eyebrows, even to Botox-filled foreheads.
What's best about your lark, Miss Gabor?
Well, it's not too big, it's not too small, it's completely different. And I like things different.
Zsa Zsa was a master of self-promotion, and she wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers along the way.
It was completely and wonderfully amusing. Thank you, Miss
You know,
Zsa Zsa.
I'm here. Now, don't send me away. I'm here because you know that you must know that the book is coming out in a month.
Statements like that, while being undeniably witty, also solidified her image as a gold digger.
a label that she happily embraced, but also one that she resented.
And you've had some very generous husbands, haven't you?
No, not at all. All the other husbands cost me money, included Hilton.
What, even the enormously wealthy one?
Yeah.
Her 9 marriages were often fodder for the tabloids. Her brief but turbulent union with hotel magnate Conrad Hilton resulted in one daughter, Francesca. But it was marked by alleged abuse and bitter recriminations.
Don't talk to enormously wealthy men. They are the most cheap.
And I tell you one thing, I never got alimony or a child support from my husband, only because I didn't want it to, because nobody's going to buy me.
Yeah,
Her marriage to actor George Sanders was equally volatile, ending in divorce, and even more dramatically, Sanders later marrying Zsa Zsa's sister Magda.
But it wasn't just her penchant for wealthy husbands that made headlines. She was embroiled in a lot of controversies in her career.
There were celebrity spats, allegations of fraud, and a general air of extravagance that seemed almost defiant in a world where many people struggled to make ends meet.
Miss Gabor,
Yes?
have you tried Lowry's seasoned salt?
Of course.
Good. It's really terrific on hamburgers. How did you like it?
On caviar, darling.
From the 50s onwards, she largely dropped any ambition to be known as a film actress, focusing increasingly on television appearances, becoming a regular on talk shows, game shows, and variety shows where her vibrant and eccentric personality would shine through. The 1980s marked the start of more damaging publicity. Zsa Zsa boasted of one of the largest jewelry collections in America, donating what she said were earrings worth $23,000 to a charity. When they appraised them, they were in fact worth a mere $700. There were allegations that it was a deliberate deception. She was fired from a theatre production of 40 Carats after demanding front row handicapped theatre-goers to be moved to the back of the auditorium.
You were accused of being abusive to the handicapped people who were in the front row.
I was on stage acting. How can I be abusing to people?
Right.
I don't see the people. It's a dinner theater when it's my livelihood, honey.
I
lost 120. All right.
She kept on bugging me until a gentleman, a very nice gentleman who sat next to me from Atlanta, said to me, you know, there's always a bitch on the airline. This bitch is going to pick on you the whole trip because you are Zsa Zsa Gabor.
A few years later, she was escorted off a Delta airline flight after refusing to keep her 6 dogs secured in a travel kennel. After staff asked several times politely to secure her pack of animals, Gabor became rude, aggressive, and intimidating, leading to her removal.
So here we are, finally. This is the incident that shook the world.
Beverly Hills, a beautiful day turns sour. Zsa Zsa, behind the wheel of her beloved Rolls, gets flagged down by Officer Paul Kramer, a man who clearly hadn't read the memo about respecting royalty, even Hollywood royalty. The infraction?
Gabor's registration tags had expired. It was a routine traffic stop. She presented Kramer with an expired and altered driver's license. Her birth date had been touched up.
Here's an explanation about what happened on that fateful day.
This is the spot where Officer Paul Kramer first pulled over Miss Gabor's Rolls-Royce. Zsa Zsa argued with Kramer. Kramer went back to his vehicle and allegedly told her to f off. Zsa Zsa testified she thought that meant she could go. Now, this is the spot where she was pulled over for the second time and arrested. Zsa Zsa claims that Kramer reached into the car and grabbed her arm hard enough to bruise her.
And as the evidence will show in this case, he observed her to step out of the car and appear to close it. And then in one motion with her right hand, swung around and slapped him across the side of the face.
The late 60-something was arrested and charged with battery on a police officer, disobeying a police officer, driving with an expired license, driving with an open container of bourbon in the vehicle, and for slapping a police officer.
Was it an accidental purse slap, a misunderstanding blown out of proportion, or was it simply Zsa Zsa just being Zsa Zsa?
Zsa Zsa was offered a plea bargain for admitting her guilt that simply included a public apology. But she wasn't going down without a fight, pleading a resolute not guilty.
You could have pled guilty and the thing...
Why shall I say guilty when I'm not guilty?
And this was a high-stake game. If convicted, she faced up to 18 months in jail and up to $3,400 in fines. Anticipating the worst, costume designer Bob Mackie designed a $6,000 prison dress, complete with traditional jailbird stripes, just in case. The stage was set for a trial so over-the-top it made Dynasty look like a documentary. The courtroom became the hottest ticket in town. The prosecution painted Zsa Zsa as a spoiled, entitled diva who believed that the law did not apply to her. The defense portrayed her as a fragile, misunderstood woman, being unfairly targeted by a power-hungry police officer. It was a battle of narratives, a clash of cultures, and a masterclass in public relations, whether intended or not.
She gazes at Kramer with a combination of disdain and admiration for his manly good looks. She compares him later to Tom Selleck. She also claims he's gay and jealous of her ex-husbands.
Well, I don't want to go to prison. I have claustrophobia.
She arrived at the courthouse each day dressed to the nines, faced with a barrage of cameras, reporters, and microphones, angling to record her every word. Fans waved free Zsa Zsa placards on the courtroom steps.
And you're a... Thank you. Good morning.
She was in her element. In her numerous eccentric courthouse news conferences, Gabor gave her opinions on everything, from fashion to Pat Sajak. Also about the policeman she said brutalized her.
Okay, but what was your reaction listening to him?
I'm sorry, we're under a court order
I
not
tell
to
you what
discuss
my
that.
reaction. I thought he, at the beginning he said truth and he started to lie.
Zsa Zsa,
No,
really not allowed to make this type of
Okay.
statement.
Zsa Zsa, did you...
Turning the walk from her car to the courtroom into a red carpet event. She delivered witty one-liners to the press, flirted with the jury, and generally treated the trial like a performance. The defense portrayed Zsa Zsa as a vulnerable woman, a refugee from a war-torn country unfairly targeted by a power-hungry police officer who roughed her up and yelled obscenities at her.
He could have taken out the gun and said, "As self-defense, I shot her." Who would have stopped him?
Well, he didn't.
You know why he didn't?
He didn't. He didn't shoot
He would
you.
like to sleep with me, I think.
They called character witnesses to testify about her kindness and generosity, attempting to humanize her, at the same time relentlessly attacking Officer Kramer's credibility, painting him as an ambitious cop eager to make a name for himself. Were his motives really pure, or was he seeking to exploit Zsa Zsa's fame for his own gain? The credibility of Officer Paul Kramer was paramount. The prosecution presented him as a dedicated, by-the-book officer simply doing his job, portraying her as a privileged socialite who believed that she was above the consequences of her actions. Gabor's defense contended that when Kramer told her to cough, she believed it to mean that she could drive off.
Ms. Gabor, but when you say F off, do you mean to tell us that Officer Kramer said fuck off to you?
Yes.
And what does that word mean to you?
I thought in England, I always hear that you can go.
She also claimed that she hit Kramer strictly in self-defense when he stopped her for a second time, alleging that he used excessive force when he yanked Gabor from her car. He handcuffed her and forced her to sit on the curb. Defense witnesses consisted of several people who'd had previous run-ins with Kramer, illustrating a pattern of abuse by the officer.
Virginia housewife Melanie Yonkers attempts to corroborate Zsa Zsa's story about Kramer's alleged brutality. She describes how she too was roughed up during a traffic stop.
That woman said the same cop handcuffed her, took her child, a 2-year-old child. Her sister sat in the back. She threw herself before a bus for help. And the man arrested her, put her in jail because she disturbed the peace. Well, which mother? I threw myself in a bus for a dog, and I've done it many times.
Also those at the scene of the crime, seeing a 6'4" man pull the helpless Gabor aggressively from her car while he was aggressively swearing.
I can't say it and it's so vulgar. Your effing age.
Effing W, yes.
No, yeah.
It's not important.
You spell it.
H is fine.
You spell it with W.
H is fine. Don't worry.
Kramer was the first witness to testify. He said that Gabor tried to run him down. She cursed at him, spat at him, and slapped him. Now, he admitted that he used profanity himself, but only after Gabor continued to struggle as he handcuffed her. The sandy-haired, square-jawed Kramer, who confessed to wearing a free Zsa Zsa t-shirt at his 38th birthday party, also demonstrated a highly dramatic courtroom reenactment of the slap heard around the world.
There's no question she hit the officer.
Officer Kramer, as gently as you can, please take Miss Gabor's right hand and place it on your face where she struck you.
No question, she was arrested and handcuffed like this.
When fellow officer Scott Thompson joined the crime scene to assist his colleague, he testified that she swore at him and threatened to have his job.
She looked at me and said, I'll have your job. I'm calling the Reagans on this.
As Thompson testified, the former actress burst into tears and bolted towards the exit, stopping short when the judge ordered her to return to her seat.
On this day, Zsa Zsa tells reporters about Officer Kramer, quote, "I should have scratched his eyes out. He sits there like an Adonis and lies."
I have a remark now. Right now, I don't care if my lawyer hits me over the head. This man should be an actor because he's the biggest liar on the police department, the biggest liars on the world. And I mean it.
As a defense witness, she didn't exactly help her case.
I believe she was using her right hand and reached up. It was very awkward, but she did swat him, slap him in the face.
How hard did you hit Officer Kramer?
Not hard enough.
Her denial of personally using profanities,
A police station videotape that clearly shows her cursing and calling Kramer that effing policeman.
the prosecution presented this as irrefutable evidence of Zsa Zsa's abusive behavior and an admission of guilt. However, the defense pounced on the perceived gaps and inconsistencies in the recording, claiming that it had been tampered with.
My God, her testimony put her in serious legal jeopardy.
But it didn't mean that just because her case was bombing, that she couldn't name drop, okay? Telling reporters that she had received a message from Reagan that was delivered to her lawyer while she was testifying. However, Mark Weinberg, a Reagan spokesman, said he absolutely did not call Miss Gabor.
You will be judged by what you say. The public will judge you by what you say and not necessarily the people about whom you're speaking, right?
But I said the gospel truth up there. The gospel truth, I don't know if you know what that means.
Well, let me tell you how I view this, Ms. Gabor. I view it that you conducted yourself outside this courtroom with a continuing public tantrum. And it's time for you to stop it and for you to behave like the lady that you so repeatedly say you are.
I think I am.
Okay, thank you very much. Court is in recess.
6-2. Remember, each call costs 50 cents. Will probably have no real effect on what the sentence Zsa Zsa will get tomorrow. But then, of course, we'll let you know when the results are in.
After the 15-day trial and 10 hours of deliberations spread over 3 days, the jury came to their decision.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Zsa Zsa Gabor, guilty.
On September the 29th, Gabor was convicted of battery on a police officer, driving without a valid license, and carrying an open container of alcohol. Jurors said they disregarded much of Gabor's testimony because she was often so inconsistent.
I did never slap the damn cop.
All right. How hard did you hit Officer Kramer?
Not hard enough.
But they did acquit Gabor of disobeying Kramer for driving off because they believe she may have misunderstood or did not hear his order when he told her to f*** off.
And he says F off, which means in Europe, go. Nobody ever said that to me, though. Leave this, darling. But when I first came to America, my English wasn't this good.
And the day before Zsa Zsa was sentenced, this TV commercial for a game show was seen in New York. Zsa Zsa was paid for her appearance.
It's not easy to be Zsa Zsa. Everybody picks on me. Take away my favor, take away my driver's license.
Zsa Zsa Gabor was to spend 3 days behind bars as the judge scolded her for milking the case for publicity and carrying on a continuing public tantrum. Judge Rubin also ordered her to perform 120 hours of community service in a shelter for homeless women and hit her with nearly $13,000 in fines and restitution to the city. He not only gave her a lengthy list of probation terms that included undergoing a psychiatric evaluation and listing her correct age and weight on her driver's license.
Boulevard. She turned around and slapped the face of every American by claiming that the United States is worse than communist Russia or Nazi Germany. She has demonstrated an attitude continually of contempt for law and order and these proceedings, without a hint of remorse or contrition of any kind.
Anytime you have an assault upon the very foundation of our law and order, it's to be taken seriously.
The drunken prisoners in the next cell. You're in your flannel nightgown. This is very tough on you because you sleep in the nude wearing diamond earrings.
Yes.
And that is not possible in the jail.
No.
What happened next? Well, she didn't exactly fade into obscurity.
I picked up one of my all-time favorite people, and the two of us spent the afternoon eating fast food.
Because suddenly Zsa Zsa Gabor was everywhere. Her mugshot was plastered on magazine covers, her name was trending before trending was even a thing, and everyone had an opinion about her.
You're getting blonde. You are too jealous. You're too beautiful to be so jealous. You'll never make it, my dear, if you're a bit jealous. I know women like you.
This is the woman who popped off and said that she was bored with you and get off television. And now look at you, made her famous, John. One more.
She understood the first rule of celebrity survival, no such thing as bad publicity, and she leant into the scandal. She embraced the chaos and turned herself into a walking, talking punchline. This wasn't about damage control, it was a complete image overhaul. Zsa Zsa shed her stuffy old Hollywood persona and embraced a new identity, the sassy, rebellious, and unapologetically over-the-top diva. It was clear now that she was in on the joke, and that made her instantly more relatable, even if her lifestyle remained utterly unobtainable.
Ultimately, the Zsa Zsa trial became the ultimate career rebrand. It propelled her back into the spotlight, it gave her a new identity, and it cemented her legacy as a true, strange original. She weirdly proved that a disastrous event can somehow be turned into a golden opportunity if you have the wit, the charm, and the sheer audacity to pull it off. When Zsa Zsa passed in 2016 at the age of 99, her great niece, Paris Hilton, paid tribute to her. Though with a mixture of irony and again audacity, years prior she said about her great niece, "She does too much for publicity." That's like the pot calling the kettle darling. So was Zsa Zsa a victim or a villain, a calculating manipulator or a misunderstood icon? What do you think of her and her story? Please comment below.